Hello and welcome back to another episode of Automotivated. I am back with JB. JB, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. All this craziness going on. A lot of people have it worse than me, so I'm not going to complain.
There you go, right? And if you do, who's going to listen, right?
You for a couple
I
minutes.
would. I would. I absolutely would. And, it's great to be able to chat with you again. We are both coming virtually today, which, that's what the beauty of technology is, especially through these crazy times.
hmm
But
Yeah, I still been
go
working
ahead.
from. You okay? I'm still working from home, but I'm getting stuff done. But starting to look like I got to get the heck out of the house.
The four walls just start to creep in on you if you're there too long,
hmm
right?
Yep.
Well, we have an interesting topic to talk about. For a long time, we've been talking about the whole idea of the technician shortage that we have. We know that it's a problem in our industry. We know that a lot of our shops are dealing with it currently. But one of the things that we haven't talked about as much is how we can leverage the long term technician that's been a part of your shop. How important is it not only to be able to acquire the new talent that's coming in, but also retain and evolve the technicians that have been a part of your team, from the very start?
Well, I mean, let's just take it back a step. Getting somebody new in the door is a whole process that requires a lot of things to happen and a lot of trust to build and all those things. But if you have individuals that have been with you for years, decades, or whatever it is, you already know the quality of the person that you have.
Mhm.
So anything that we can do with that individual to keep them on board longer or to take advantage to bring other people on board is what we need to do. So I think
Mhm.
that's very important is to use what you got. And
Mhm.
I may have mentioned before, I'm not sure. And if you have people that are retiring, don't be afraid to have a conversation about, hey, how would you like to come back part time and just do a couple of days instead of this full time thing? Because a lot of times people get retired and they get crazy. They have nothing to
Mhm.
do.
Mhm.
So there's a person or persons in your shop that can be used for a purpose of bringing new people on and keeping them for a long time.
How big would you say is this training functionality that comes into play where this technician has been working on vehicles and a main component of your shop, but as these new technicians come in, how much does their role within your shop transition, to make sure that there is a line of talent on your team for years to come?
Well, I mean, my experience, I've got some dealership experience, and we mostly brought the newer people in through the oil change area.
Hmm.
And I think that in a dealership and I think an independent shop are about the same because you can bring somebody that's in low key and show them how to put it on a lift, how to change the oil, and please check, make sure the gasket's out of there before you put the filter on, and things of that sort. Um, if you got people coming in there, what's the next step? Well, you move them up to the basic maintenance. And
Hmm.
then once they get a hold of that, maybe you're going to find out that they have a really good skill for diagnosing something. So you move
Hmm.
them to the next step. And you can keep moving them up and keeping them under your house. And the thing is the person. If you can make the person learn more and do more, that's what you want to do. And I guess what we're talking about here is taking advantage because you have that gentleman that's been in the shop forever, with you forever. They may not be the world's best teacher, but they can still help a younger person come along.
Hmm.
I mean, I took advantage of that. And the gentleman's name was Wally, and he's passed away since. But Wally, all I had to do was get him his coffee, and while I was the young guy, he would pull me over and show me how to do things.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's how I learned a lot of basic stuff, and it helped me move up the ladder really quick. So my experience from being on the receiving side and my experience of being on the giving side, because again, in the dealership as a shop foreman, I trained a lot of people that are still out there working and they're doing really well.
Hmm.
So I see that role of your individuals that you have today, they're the important ones because they're the ones that can reach out and bring in others for you.
Hmm. Absolutely. And now, I have you seen a change in the type of talent that's coming in over the course of the past couple of years compared to what the talent was for some of these long-term technicians, what are also some of the valuable skills that these newer technicians are bringing in almost as a fresh start to the shop?
Well, playing with social media and playing with electronics
Hmm.
because that's kind of where it's gone. I mean, the cars have 20 computers in them. We need someone that understands that, and someone that can go up to a screen and just start popping around like that. Or, Bolton does the digital inspection, putting a tablet in their hand and then being able just to go to town because they know exactly how to work it. That is the new skill because those of us that have been in the field, us baby boomers, which I'm on the tail end of, we've been in the business for 35 plus years, 30
Hmm.
years. We're getting a little cranky. But the point is if I have these younger people coming in and I can show them what I know and learn a little bit about how to use the technology that they know, it's a benefit for everybody.
Sure. So there's actually a training component with the younger generation, so to say, that's coming in and also really evolving the shop with a lot of the technology options that are now available. And honestly, customers are coming to expect in some of these shops.
Yeah, I mean, you're competing with the dealerships, and but the thing is, with the independents, it's more of a personal one-on-one. So
Mhm.
if you can give your customers the comfort that you have the technology that their cars need and bring them to your shop, that's what you really want to do.
Absolutely. I want to quickly go back to one thing that you mentioned before in, looking at these long-term techs that are approaching retirement and how it actually might be an opportunity to transition them into a new role where they're still involved in your shop, but not in the way that they used to be. How beneficial is that to just have the resource available, whether that's part-time or on an as needed basis? And what does that look like with independent shops that, maybe have smaller teams and teams that have been there for years and years and years? Is that an easy transition to make?
Well, it's a long-term transition, I would say. And here's the
Mhm.
example. I mean, our bodies, when we're technicians and lifting things and doing stuff and getting in tight spots, our bodies wear out. So, one of
Mhm.
the things that we should do with these individuals that have all the knowledge and the skills is take away from them the part of the job that wears them out. So an example, if you have a transmission person, some shops have a transmission person. That person can, once the unit's on the table, on the counter, they can take it all apart, find the problem, fix it, and put it back together. But if you have a younger individual pulling the units and giving them to them and putting the units back in, that tech is got some real value for your shop. And know what? They're going to be around a lot longer. And that individual taking things out and putting them back in, they've been overlooking the shoulder and learning the tricks of the trade that advise that oh geez, why that tech is working on the transmission.
Mhm. I think that's a really good point that, it really is an evolution in how you're able to use your technicians who have been a part of your shop for a very long time, and still not only utilize them as individuals, but really also grow the people that you have currently on your shop that might be the younger generation or simply just newer. They have the relationships, they have the training, they have the skill set, and for that to just be transitioned out in a very abrupt way is a lot of missed opportunity for each of these
Hmm.
independent repair shops.
Definitely. I mean, the more you learn from that individual, and the more trust you have in the individuals that you're training because they're already your employees. I mean, that's a win-win.
Mhm.
And if you can keep it from going out the door, let that trans tech go out the door eventually, but be sure that he's left his impression on the person who was pulling and putting the units back in the vehicle.
Great. So this is definitely a different way to look at leveraging the long-term technicians that
Hmm.
people have had on their team, but it's important that you have a strategy in place when it comes to the evolution of your shop. Simply, we talk about this with shop owners as well. What is your long-term goal for your shop? as they also age and move into different um, different areas and different stages of their life and what they want out of their shop. So it's the same thing in looking at what you can use for your team, especially teams that have been reliable and have been there for a long time and are really key components. So I appreciate you chatting with me on this topic. I think this one was a very interesting one that is really going to open shop owners' eyes to what, the next year, 5 years, 10 years looks like.
Decades.
Hmm.
And here's the thing, I want to reiterate one of the things that you just said, a strategy.
Hmm.
Have the realization that you got to build a strategy and use it. And don't get lost in the dollars and cents. The point is, oh, I'm hiring another person and it's going to cost me more to get this done. But the thing is, if you look at the long term, you're going to benefit. That
Hmm.
cost is going to negate itself because you're getting a new person and your other person's becoming more efficient because they have the help of that other person.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
just like you said, those shops, put a strategy together.
Well, JB, I appreciate all of your time in helping to build this strategy. And we want to know what it is that you're doing with the members of your team that are, shifting into different roles, and how you're encouraging them to help any new people that are added to your team. So let us know what you think. Let us know if you have a strategy in place. We'd like to see how successful it's been for your teams and what you're experiencing on your end. But until next time, JB, it is a pleasure talking to you. I'm glad we were able to have you back on for another episode of
Woohoo!
Automotivated.
Automotivated, and here I am.
Here we are. All right. Well, we will be back in another 2 weeks with another topic. So stay tuned. Make sure that if you're interested, you attend our event on Facebook so that way you can be notified and reminded of what's going on with our live streams. But until next time, I know that we're automotivated here at Bolt On Technology, and we want to know if you are too. Thanks so
Excellent.
much.